Well, if you ask Toledo Mayor Wade Kapszukiewicz, he's proud of the state of the city. His address ran just over an hour. The mayor outlined economic development and American Rescue Plan spending that includes replacing lead water lines, adding more than 100 summer programs for kids, and fighting blight. It also adds more than $1 million to pay for universal pre-K, which he says is desperately needed.
We are the only big city that does not already provide universal pre-K. We have to do it. City Council understands that. That's why they stepped up and passed that money last night, which, by the way, was $1.25 million, but should be thought about as $20 million because it leverages that much money from ProMedica, TPS, and others.
The mayor announced a new hire in an effort to secure more grant money for the city and teased some other big announcements.
If you watched WTOL 11 at 11 last night, you know the big issue that people wanted to hear about or hear addressed from the mayor today was safety. The mayor talked about plans to hire 100 new police officers by 2026 and to expand the Shot Spotter program. And he says his heart aches for the families who lost loved ones, including 4 children killed this year. But he points out homicides and other crime is down year over year. And he says the people behind this violence usually know their target, even if they end up taking an innocent life.
Unfortunately, we're seeing retaliation. We are seeing revenge. Doesn't make it any less heartbreaking, but it speaks to what we need to do to solve it. In almost every case that we've seen, the victim and the attacker knew each other.
The mayor also announced the results of a third targeted police operation in East Toledo, pulling dozens of guns off the streets and making nearly 200 arrests. You can watch the entire address on our YouTube page. Following the mayor's speech, we spoke to city council leaders and the city's director of public safety. They all play a part in fighting violence in our city, but the mayor says there's a part everyone needs to play in ending the violence. Roxanne Elias is live with that side of the story tonight. Roxanne?
Jeff, Mayor Wade Kapszukiewicz says there's a lot of finger pointing when bad things happen here in our city, but he says part of a solution moving towards it is for yourself to take a closer look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself how you can help.
Our story in Toledo is one where there is more good than bad happening, but it doesn't mean we're satisfied, and it doesn't mean that the bad isn't heartbreaking, which is why we're putting such a focus on it.
Crime, violence, and heartbreak are at the top of Toledoans' minds. Mayor Wade Kapszukiewicz addressed it tonight at the end of his State of the City speech.
The people involved in this gun violence aren't working for the betterment of Toledo.
City Director of Public Safety Brian Byrd is among those working towards a solution. Tonight, he listened in the audience.
Our priority is doing what we can to try to keep those numbers low in the area that they are low in, where our violence interrupters are, and expanding that program out. The mayor touched on that some, to get it into the other areas of the city that have been affected.
It's the biggest priority for City Councilwoman Sir Sandra McPherson. But she says she was disappointed that there wasn't a bigger emphasis on the recent crime.
I just wanted him to be a little stronger in saying that, as the mayor, we will not tolerate the behavior. We will not tolerate the abuse of our women, of our children, and that we're going after these people.
McPherson says she worries kids outside during the summer could become victims of gun violence. But Mayor Wade Kapszukiewicz says the city is doing something about it.
We are adding 100 new police officers to the street. We've unveiled a program of 100 different activities, most free, that kids can do this summer. We're doing long-term things like building YMCAs in neighborhoods that need investment.
Still, McPherson says it starts at the top, and she hopes to see the mayor sternly directing the city in eradicating violence first.
Man up. Let's get tough. Let's get serious about this. We're losing children. Now, let's say I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and the people need to hear that.
Mayor Kapszukiewicz and Byrd say that they're currently working on interviewing and hiring a new director for the Gun Reduction Violence Initiative. And after more conversations, they're hoping to hire someone soon. We will let you guys know how that goes. I'm live in East Toledo. Roxanne Elias, WTOL 11.
Well, the mayor touched on the recent rash of violence, as we mentioned, in the city, and one city council member agreed it's a major problem, but says the problems don't seem to be random.
We don't necessarily need to be scared when we're outside, but what we do need to do is make the right investments in our community, make sure that we're doing the types of things, creating the type of city that everybody has an opportunity to thrive in.
Komive says he wishes the mayor would have touched more on the investments the city has made to clean up our environment.